Welcome back to EBUC 2019 here at the Praia da Rocha, Portimao, Portugal. Rocking and rolling once more with the men's bronze medal match between Spain and Portugal. Benjamin Rees alongside Tom Stiles and our statistician Brian Toy up here in the booth. Vasquez finds Fernandez for Spain, who are beginning this game on offense wearing the all navy blue, the poles in all red, high release backhand into the centre for Monterde. Now on the far sideline with Lorenzo, swinging around, milked nicely by Fernandez, towed in for Vasquez. High release, pressure is tight from the poles, but then not quite getting it. Look at the jinking and jiving from Fernandez, just about getting free. Another high release. Look at the little IO shape on that towards the far sideline. Now slowing things down a little bit. Look at him fake that high release in the end, just a simple throw into the middle for Monterde. Popped back off to Lorenzo. Fernandez, he's going to burn out line, defender left in the dust, puts his hand in the air. Nothing that Holnitsky could do, and nice offense for the Spanish to start 1-0, they lead.
Well, great start, Benji, and great to be here in this in the arena watching this bronze medal match. We saw both the semis yesterday afternoon on the sunshine, and the Spanish had a great game against Great Britain, really pushed them hard. The thing to watch out for the Spanish is how tight they are and how quick they're going to change which player they're marking. So we call this a switch, where I'm marking you. Sorry, I'm marking my player, you're marking somebody else. And then when we see those players running towards each other, we just stay where we are. We let the defending players arrive, and then it's so much less effort. The Spanish are super smart at it. We saw that yesterday against Great Britain. Yeah, let the offenders do the work for you. And both sides could maybe feel a little aggrieved to be here. The Spanish were 5-3 up on Great Britain. The Poles were 6-4 up on Russia. And in the end, they couldn't hold those leads. Here's Filip Dobronovsky downfield, finds Marcin Goss. Goss looking for an inside. Low across the middle of the field to Zayats. Filip Dobronovsky. Toss that backhand to his brother Lukasz. Into the end zone, continuation. Cool as you like for Marcin Goss. Good start for the Poles as well, 1-0. Yeah, Dobronovsky brothers combining very well there. Two players that were featuring in Wrocław, part of the World Games side. Poles at the World Games as the host nation. That was in 2017. And these two sides met previously in the tournament. Both came out of the same pool. 3 of the semi-finalists came out of that pool A. Great Britain, who've made it to the final, and these two teams here. And in a bit of an upset, the Poles beat the Spaniards by a scoreline of 8-7, a universe point victory that was back and forth all the way. And that game played under slightly different conditions to that one. A lot windier early in the week, definitely calmer now. So scores to be settled here. The party in Portimao continues, and it's been a really great week. Weather has been fine. We had a tiny little bit of drizzle yesterday, but nothing really to moan about. Perfect weather for ultimate. Light breeze coming in from the Atlantic. We need a bit more sun, and we'll be golden. Fernandez puts it deep, but this is going to hang a little bit. Goes up. Oh, nice play coming over the top of the back. Stanislav Stupkovic for the Poles. Nothing that Diego Lorenzo Jimenez could do. Yeah, the problem was the throw there, wasn't it? Hung up in the air. Polish defense reading it well. Plenty of time for them to catch up and deal with the matter. Definitely have shaped it a bit more towards the sideline before coming back in and aid Lorenzo with the positioning a little bit there. Lovely shot. You can see the cliffs in the background. Just Stupkovic getting over the top and making the grab. So Jan Madej will pick up for this Polish D-line. First chance of a break. Player immediately takes off deep. Going to take the swing. Oh, a little dodgy on the catch from Swieczewski. Swieczewski has it again now. Looking downfield, coming free onto this overside is the man who got the block, Stupkovic. Looking deep into the end zone for Mateusz Kosmowski. Oh, got too far underneath it. Bit of a misread there from the Polish receiver, and the Spaniards will get the disc back. Quite a lot of contact from Romano as well, but nothing called from the Poles. The two players, I think both of them had got themselves underneath that disc, catching and rising in the wind.
And those of you who are watching the Master Men's bronze medal match in our previous game slot wouldn't have seen this. So this is what happens. Sides are allowed to turn the disc back over.
I couldn't believe the number of turnovers. So low, so clean.
So not quite the same hot start to this game. Nice underneath, Romano doing a very good job of dishing it back to Lorenzo. Now across into the center, makes the crab catch with two hands, dump back now to Fernandez. Looking for the inside break right down the middle of the field. The one, Pasco Castro, and Spanish take a 2-1 lead.
Interestingly, the Poles are marking underneath. When we say that, we mean they're marking nearer to the disc than the player that they're marking. So they're preventing the player from coming back towards the disc to collect it and inviting that deep shot. And the Spanish not taking that option at the moment. They still want to play lots of deep cuts that come back towards the disc, get that short pass and keep rotating through the whole team before they work it into the end zone. Wonder if the Poles have set themselves up on defense like that to nullify that short, sharp passing game that the Spanish have.
It certainly wouldn't surprise me. And we saw when the Spanish put it deep, it was defended by the Poles, so that strategy seems to have worked for them, but they just couldn't capitalize. That pole is not going to be particularly very good. Going to harmlessly turn it on the sideline, and the lefty of the two Dobronovsky brothers, Philly, will bring it in from the brick mark.
Bronze medal action. Both of these teams will probably feel like they've earned a bronze medal this week, but only one of them can take it home.
And it's so gutting to have got this far and then leave with nothing. It's always nice to end on that win.
Everybody wants to end on a win, don't they?
Novakovsky into the center for Zaton. Dobronovsky looking around. Nice quick turning there on the sand from Filip Dobronovsky. Now it's Lukasz, and those two just playing catch in the backfield. Big bid comes underneath, not going to get a hand on that one. Zaton picks it up. Is Zayats. The long lean Zayats with a lovely lead pass to Tomasz Zaton.
Great patience between those two.
Was looking at Zayats, but he kind of slipped as he made his cut, and the throw IO is a little bit late, and it allows from the layout D for Binya. Turnover called. Good spirit there by the Poles. Knew that he got beaten to the spot. Defender got a hand in there first and cleanly, so chance for the game's first break.
A great spirit from Dobronovsky there. He got his hand underneath the Spanish defender, probably felt a bit aggrieved about it, but calmly had a rethink about what had actually happened with the disc. No call.
Gabaldoni, who leads the Spanish side in assist, looking deep. Oh, what a grab from Marquez. Sensational stuff. Volunteers, shocked faces on the sidelines. They could not believe what they've seen.
Gravity temporarily suspended as Marquez leaps towards that disc. Fully extended, horizontal, slaps stomach first into the sand. Incredible highlight reel stuff. Hollywood blockbuster action from Ricardo Marquez.
And I was sure that Gabaldoni had overthrown it, and seemingly from out of nowhere, Marquez with possibly the grab of the week. What a fantastic play. I'm overwhelmed to say that we can bring you another replay of it, because just unbelievable stuff. Look at it.
It's gone. Oh my goodness, what a grab.
Completely horizontal, way off the ground. What a way to have the game's first break. The Spanish now lead 3-1. The Poles did so well, worked all the way up the field and just stagnated in the red zone, couldn't punch it in, and the Spanish have capitalized, and boy, what a way to capitalize.
That pull has caught the Atlantic breeze, disappears into the bottom of the stand. One of the fans filling this stadium arena. We've got 4 of the Masters Divisions finals on this arena.
Yeah, we've got the mixed bronze medal match after this as well, so plenty of action here to come on this fantastic Friday of the European Beach Ultimate Championships 2019. Filip Dobronovsky finds Braniecki, but he has to lay out for it. Gets two hands, but can't bring it in. You see they're wearing that red tank top and those distinctive hairstyles thanks to the semi-pro barbering of Swieciecki. Now here's the Spanish D-line offense. Underneath.
They're just getting so much separation on their undercuts here.
And there's a real art to running on the sand, and the Spanish seem to have mastered it. Roll, curving, backhand, big contest on the bid from Marcin Goss. Can't get there in time. Another break for the Spanish. Ruben San Jose Garcia makes the catch, and good to see the Spaniards coming over, congratulating Goss on making a valiant effort, but not in time, and another break for the Spaniards. 4-1 up this time.
That grab. Oh, that grab was so hard. Serious pressure from the Poles. Ruben San Jose Garcia defiant with his hands. And this is looking strong for the Spanish. I was saying their ability to get free from the Polish defenders. Those are the O-line defenders.
And this is the thing with your O-line. Obviously, you back them to score all the time, but when they don't, you've got to be athletic enough and smart enough to get the disc back to atone from your mistakes. And so far, this Polish O-line hasn't been able to do it in this game. And here is the aforementioned Polish offense. Łukasz Dobronovsky isolates Nowakowski. Back to Dobronovsky. Is Marseille Paris. Paris looks downfield. Finds Braniecki. Oh, just bit too far in front of Satonia. He got a hand, but it just span out of his palm. And another break chance here. Gabaldoni picks up. Wide open underneath is Alastrui. Continuation to Rivera on that far sideline. Looking for a reset. There is a poach available if he can just isolate it. Lovely way to get it open with that high release lefty backhand, but he stumbles a little bit. The sand monster gets hold of him and he just bounces off his fingertips.
Really tough to see these players struggling with the deep, soft sand, and a timeout call. We saw both teams there struggling to accelerate. Once your momentum and weight has been shifted to one side, to then get it back, get on your toes and start pushing off through the sand takes such a big effort. The Spanish have dealt with it better so far. Benji's talking about the sand monster there. It's this odd sensation when players are really trying to accelerate. If they use the same technique as they used when they were running on grass, where they're expecting hard resistance from the floor, quite often the sand just gives away underneath them and they disappear up to knee length.
Yeah, the temptation obviously is to try and power through as fast as you can, but you don't want to take particularly heavy steps because you end up digging yourself into the sand. You want to kind of keep those knees high, try and get as little contact with the sand as possible.
Yes, I've heard some people describe the running style on sand as getting your foot as far ahead of you as you can and then pulling yourself through the stride rather than really exploding off the toes at the end, because it's that explosion off the toes at the end of the running stride which can sometimes go missing, and that's where you end up buried in the soft stuff. Beautiful conditions here at the Praia da Rocha beach in Portimao, and been very dry in the run-up to this tournament, so the sand is light and fluffy. Steve Giguère is playing in the Great Britain Great Grandmasters team, one of our commentary colour commentators for the week. He said it was one of the best surfaces for running on, and he's played beach on in his career, and it's quite a career, so high compliments about the conditions and the arena we have for the players.
Yeah, your old partner in crime from back in the Block Stack TV days. Into the matter at hand, more current affairs. Nowakowski looking downfield. The Polish offense has been pretty muddled to start this game after a clean first point. Lukasz Dobranowski resets to Paris. And now he has it back. Finds the underneath. Oh, too low, hit the sand. Zaton couldn't get under it. And just a simple throwing error from someone the quality of Lukasz Dobranowski. It's something you do not expect to see. Gabaldoni breaks around. Catch out in front of him from Rivera. And now Gabaldoni has it, looks at the end zone. I'm so sure he likes what he's seeing. Resets it back instead. And the break up the line, layup in, another spectacular grab for the Spanish. This time Jose Gabaldoni doing the honors, their top stats getter for a reason. He had 17 assists and 12 goals coming into this game, and he can't have had many better than that.
That was really special there. Jose Gabaldoni, his 13th goal for the tournament.
A veritable stat stuffer, isn't he?
He's got the next biggest stats are for Roveda and Jimenez, or Lorenzo Jimenez, and they have 17 stats between them. But Gabaldoni really troubling the end zone with both throws and assists. Sorry, throws and goals.
And that's what you want to be. You want to be a dual threat as a player, because if you're someone who people know is an end zone cutter, but isn't necessarily good with the disc in the hands, they'll force you towards the disc, try and get you to make those throws. Whereas if you're someone who's a thrower and isn't so good downfield, they'll force you away from the disc. But if you can do both, it's very much a pick your poison. So the Polish offense is going to bring it into the brick mark with number 11, Jan Madej. So this lands in and rolls out, so it just comes to the front of the end zone. Nice switch executed by the Spaniards, but they couldn't get to that disc in time. The throw fading to the break side was nice for Gasper Podgaini. And he's going to take a reset. Now there's an option to the break side, didn't spot it. Now he's looking for it. Force falls on the floor, still tries to be a nuisance. I think too much of a nuisance in the end, as he's getting a little bit eager to try and do anything he could to stop that disc going.
As he was standing up there, his feet were all over the feet of the 21 shirt of Stukowicz.
So Stukowicz has it now, just a little lead pass. Began to pop up a little bit at the end, but Jan Madej showed safe hands to bring it in, and it's going to result in the second Polish goal.
You see the nerves from the Poles there on the end zone line with a really clear open cut on that break side, but just not taking it, hesitating a little bit. You can't hesitate against this Spanish team. So the Poles needing to establish a bit of flow, a bit of confidence. That's the first offensive hold they've had since they were at 1 apiece. And Spain in the driving seat at the moment, Benji.
And on beach where everything's so exhausting, you can't afford to miss opportunities like that, because it just takes so much more hard work to get open the longer the point goes on. And we've seen with Spain, they've been so effective just pinballing the disc around, really matriculating it down the field, working it with those short passes that the Poles have been on their heels.
If that disc comes back in, it's genius, but it hasn't. It's come right out the disc in front of the halfway line.
So it's pretty much on the attacking brick mark, obviously from the sideline, but this is the risk with those pulls that go out of bounds early. If they don't come in, you're giving up a lot of field position. Mateusz Kosmowski
choosing to take it from the side of the field rather than his own brick mark.
Yeah, rather take that yardage gain, comfortable enough breaking the force. The around goes to Gabaldoni. And there's going to be a call, maybe a little bump downfield. Stukowicz slaps hands with Dalmo, so it seems that they've resolved that. Uncontested foul downfield, Stall's going to reset to 0. Kosmowski checks it in. Raking around break. Now dished into the center for Marquez. We've already seen make a spectacular play. Nothing needed necessarily that time for the Spanish. Stumbled a little bit, but Gabaldoni was able to keep it snagged in that right hand. 6-2 now.
Poles, their own worst enemy in that position. That pull creating all the problems, giving the Spanish a short field to work with, and they are not going to make mistakes. It's so much easier to explode out of the end zone where you've not had to work the disc up the full 60 meters.
Just see it here on the replay, just using the full width of the field to their advantage. And then just popping that backhand in. Stumbles a little bit, but is able to bring it in with that right claw.
Galbadoni with another point for his stats.
Doing a good job early on in this game. I say early on in this game, it's nearly half time. Such has been the speed at which the Spanish have broke. Fernandez is going to have a blading pull fielded on the hop by Novakovsky. Upfield to Filip Dobrovsky. Here's Goss. Finds Zaton. Using those big expressive fakes. Underneath finds Goss. Contested grab made by Zayat. Bump on the mark. Haven't seen Zayat for a few points, but he's their main end zone cutter. He's got the majority of the, definitely the leading goal scorer on this Polish side. He's got 18 of them coming into this game. You see those long, lean, almost bird legs.
Really interesting how far away the Spanish defender is from the person with the disc during that last possession.
Poles do a good job of getting off on a high stall. The force bites hard. It's a big munch, but doesn't get it. Oh, what a sensational layout catch block from Lorenzo. The cutter had fallen over, but he wasn't going to leave it up to chance. Naya swings to Fernandez. Don't back off. Naya looking downfield. Has to take a reset though.
Good communication from Fernandez there, just pointing at where the open play was. The disc almost disappeared into the sand there.
Yeah, Dobronovsky poached in the lane. Left that hand free, but almost didn't get the disc to him. Just popping into this near side. Swinging around to Fernandez. Underneath, looking for a little lead pass. Oh, it's going to sit, but he's got plenty of time to walk it in, does Romano, and the Spaniards break again for a 7.5-point lead. They have just been ruthless.
And you see how tired they are. Just they've run and run and run, but they've got a big line. They'll all be grateful to take substitutes and have a little breather over the half time. But they are in a different league to Poland here in this bronze medal match.
Something I really like that they've been doing is when they've been getting cutters coming underneath, their handlers run through and they're popping it off. So the handlers are catching the disc, they're looking downfield and they can move and isolate those options nice and early in the stall count.
We heard Benji talking a little bit about the throwing lanes, and this is what we mean by that is you'll generally find that the disc in the middle of the field. The throwing lane that we'd like to see is a space down the side of the field where the thrower is, that they can then move the disc up the field and into the end zone. And what the Poles were doing was leaving a player in that space to stop the easy movement of the disc forward and forcing the Spanish to choose another option.
But the Spaniards did the right thing and moved it through the open player.
Well, that's the fallback, isn't it? Because there's a player poaching in that lane, there's someone else is free.
And this is fast offense from the Poles. This is what we've seen them do at their best. Move the disc quickly, keep defenders on their heels, make them commit and then beat them the other way. But Oniecki now holds it a little bit. Cutters just slow down as they transition into an end zone set. Paris looking towards that far corner, maybe thinking for a blade. Instead puts it far out in front. Nice play by Medea. I love the way he catches it and turns the disc over in his hand so he doesn't ground strip himself on the landing. And the break side continuation from Podgani is right on the spot to Lukasz Dobronovsky for the Polish score. Nice start to the second half for them.
Where's this Poland been? Where's this Poland been all game? That was so much better. Not letting the Spanish settle onto any sort of high stall, keeping the flow going. We talk about establishing flow and keeping flow going. really what we're talking about there is keeping the disc moving before the stall count gets to 2. Catch, look up, throw, catch, look up, throw. And the big advantage of keeping the disc in flow is that the defense doesn't have time to set up takeaway options, and players can move the disc very quickly across the field if they can and keep that up.
And this is an entirely different game script to what we saw, where in the earlier game these two played in the pool, Poland put an early lead and were just about able to defend it, ground out an 8-7 win, but this time the Spanish look much more on top form.
We've got a zone defensive strategy here from the Poles now.
Yeah, wind picked up a little bit, so maybe trying to hope that that can cause a couple of throwing errors.
You'll see a lot more throws being made against the zone than you will do when they're marking one-on-one.
Doing a good job of finding underneath, and then there's a little quick pop to the handler running through, but the timing on that downfield continuation isn't there. Big, powerful fake from San Jose.
Now they've transitioned to a one-on-one defense. Every player marking one of the opposition.
But just going to get beaten up line. Left out of position was Stukowicz off that transition, and Lorenzo gets it in the front side of the end zone for the goal. And the Spanish have already scored more points this game than they did in their previous encounter with the Poles.
Well, it's high-class stuff from the Spanish. The Polish showed 2 different defensive tactics there. The zone for the first half of the field, one-on-one for the rest of the field, but Spanish adapted, moved the disc around the zone, accelerated when they were one-on-one, got themselves free. It's just exactly the sort of team in peak confidence. They've got total faith in each other. Really can't see the Poles getting back into this one unless they find a way of being much more effective on their own offense and really finding a way of disturbing the Spanish flow when they have the disc themselves.
So Rivera, with that distinctive ponytail, will pull for the Spanish. I wonder what he's got in mind, and he's going for one of those blading backhands that we talked about, lands in the end zone, fielded on the hop by Lukasz Dobronovski, and he finds Filip Dobronovski. Zone from the Spanish now as well.
Different look here. They've got 3. So it's 1 chase, 2 just behind that. Rivera is up there as well, so there's 4 around the disc, but the Poles just using those quick discs. It's going to have to be a big bid from Dobronovski. Wow.
Somehow kept that one alive. Definitely guilty of an overthrow, but did a very good hustle, chased it all the way and just about put those long arms to good use, and nice little work through that front line here. They've done a very good job of just homeboying it up that far side, and a lot of give-go, short movement, gaining and stealing as many yards as they can.
We saw Rivera come into the cup to take away that throw, and then the Poles capitalize with quick movement. The Spanish have gone back to a one-on-one defense again.
Yeah, nice transition. Filip Dobronovski now has it after collecting the reset. He's just going to dish it back upfield. Not a lot going on. Now they're going to try and find that lefty eye backhand through. Zayat's bid early, but couldn't get there. Maybe thought that he wasn't going to be able to chase it down, so had to bid then. It's out of his grasp, and the Spanish have another break chance.
It's hard to say that wasn't the right tactic for the Poles, because Zayat has been their stat leader, really effective in the end zone this week. But the execution wasn't quite there. All the players struggling with the wind on this field, perhaps because there is a little bit of there's a few extra structures on the sideline of this arena field, and a timeout called by the Spanish. And that can create a swirling effect of the wind around the field. Yeah,
the wind's not necessarily as consistent as it is on some of the other fields, with the cover coming and going, and especially because this game started relatively still, and now it's picked up. It's not that they necessarily would have said, okay, we need to adjust our strategy coming into this game to play with the wind. They've got to do it on the fly, and good teams are able to make those quick adjustments. Yes, Jose Gabaldoni calls the timeout for the Spanish. Currently 8-3 up. Break chance here would make it 9-3 if they could get the conversion. Benjamin Rees alongside Tom Stiles in the booth. Live here from the men's bronze medal match at the European Beach Ultimate Championships, Praia da Rocha, Portimao, Portugal. Thank you very much for joining us today and all this week. Whether you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook, make sure to Give us a little thumbs up, share it with all your friends, get as many people watching as you can. Remember, we've got a mixed bronze medal match after this. We've got 4 finals coming up this afternoon, the Great Grandmasters, Master Women's and Master Mix, and a full schedule of finals as well. We've got Men's Masters and also Mixed Women's and Open. And there's multitude of ways to watch those, Tom Styles.
Yeah, there really is. And there's a lot of effort gone into bringing you these games from the beach. And anything you can do to help spread the word, get the coverage out in front of as many people as possible is very much appreciated by everybody here in the tournament organising committee, BULA, WFDF, and everybody from Ulti.tv working on the stream. I'd like to say also a big thank you to our sponsors, Discraft and VC Ultimate, WFDF's key sponsors, for all the support they give the sport of Ultimate.
And the WFDF YouTube channel carrying the feed today is well available on Facebook. And tomorrow you can also tune in on the World Games and on the Olympic channels as well.
Yeah, really pleased to have the Olympic channel and the World Games channel involved in the coverage of Ultimate.
So Gabaldoni will pick up the disc off the timeout. Going to find it underneath to initiate things to Pina. Underneath, motoring across the sand. Nice grab. Mind the look easier than it was to Rovira. Rovira looking around. Doesn't like the look of Gabaldoni. Goes the inside backhands to Marquez. Gabaldoni has it now. 2 players take off deep, but there's a wide open under. It's a safer option. He takes that instead. Nice decision making, Marquez. Oh, overthrows that one. Nice pluck. Just pop out of the sand. Did Rovira. There's a break available, but he's going to just be a bit more chill with it, and instead he's going to zing it into that far near side. Jamming it in the jam hole to number 21, Guillem Pina Laguna. And the Spanish do convert the break. Lovely offense after that timeout. 9-3 the lead.
Yeah, everybody needing a bit of a break occasionally on the sand. You see so often teams take a timeout and the defense uses it better than the offense, and they ends up being a turnover pretty quickly, but not very mature play from the Spanish.
So one of my coaches, Megan Hurst, has said it's got a couple of theories about why we see turnout so often, and it's partly because the defense gets the chance to because the offense sets up first, the defense can choose whatever they want, so they can pick the most effective method of stopping the play. And often, as a handler, you need to have that internal clock going in your head. You need to know when to give up on the play you've drawn up and isolate a reset. You need to have more than one, if very well saying this is the play off the timeout, but you need to have other options as well. You can't, because if the defense gives you a look that you weren't necessarily expecting, you need to be able to adapt to that on the fly. And there's a particular skill to bringing the disc in from a standstill. Here's Stupkovic finding underneath is Viaski, putting it deep. He's going to chase it down. Can he get it up? Lovely speed and turn of pace from number 55, Konstanty Swieciecki.
So much better from the Poles. Swieciecki in miles of space. Benji was talking a little bit about the reset. The reset is the pass that the handler will use. There's so many words we're using. We should explain some of the things.
It's ultimately a very jargon-heavy sport.
Let's try and unpack some of that for you today. If you're new to the game, handler, the person with the disc. Reset, the pass that they'll look for after stall 6 to basically get the stall count reset. The stall is up to 10, and that's being counted by the defending player. And once you get to 6, it's very important that you move the disc quickly. So the reset will usually be either a pass sideways or backwards. You're really not trying to move the disc forward at that point. Just get something out and get the stall count back to 0.
So I think both these teams have been doing very well this game. They've been looking to those resets early. If they see that reset's available, rather than wait till higher in the stall count when it might be covered up, just take the position. If you can move the disc to the open pass, it's always a good idea. So many times you see players lock off open passes early in the stall count to have to try and jam something into a tighter window later on. And if you get that open pass available, always a good idea to take it. That's a nice switch executed by the Poles downfield. Coming underneath is Diaz. Gabaldoni's going to put it deep. He's looking for Marquez. Does he have another one in him? That time he can just chase it down and flips it. The backhand to Diaz for the goal. Nice offense from the Spanish, 10-4 the score.
The Poles really not getting their defenders down there quickly enough. Maggio was right behind the catch when it came in on the edge of the end zone, but didn't really establish any sort of effective force, and has to watch as that disc gets flipped into the Spanish end zone. It's really effective offense from this Spanish team. Doing
that job as a force when you've got just pretty much the entire pitch to cover, it's almost nigh on impossible. Often you see teams there when that deep shot goes up, if the defender doesn't get there, he'll peel off the back and pick up the player running through. Probably got a slightly better chance of getting the D by taking the deeper player rather than putting a force onto a man who can put it to anywhere in space. And it has the added option where the players then following the play down the field, they don't then have to track it all the way into the end zone. They can come a little bit shorter. It gives them a little bit less work to do as well. The ball comes up from San Jose with that green trucker cap. It's going to be catched by his opposite, number 12, Lukasz Dobronovsky. Now, Podgani has it, looking deep, just too far for Zayat. He can really power his way across the sand, but couldn't quite get that one. Too much Tabasco on that shot.
He's got a really rapid scuttle across the sand as Zayat, and it's worked well for the Poles this week. He got free of the defender there as well. But like you were saying, Benji, the window that they're throwing into here has to be ahead of the defender, but not too far ahead of the receiver. In that particular case, didn't quite find the right disc.
So here's the Spanish D-line offense with a chance for another break. This game's not put to bed already at 10-4, 11-4. Would almost certainly do so. Naya dumps it off to Vasquez. Low, lasering shot through the middle to Monterde.
Only looking backwards, only looking for that reset.
Now goes upfield. Oh, a little bit of the wrong shape on it. Could have done with it perhaps being a little bit flatter, getting a bit of air under it. Now the Poles will get a chance to get the disc back. Paris looks it downfield for Zayat. That one's right on the money. 10-5 for the Poles.
Much better from the Polish offense. Zayat, again, the target in the end zone, but this time he got freedom and space. Big separation away from the defender.
And the sun's now coming out on the Praia da Rocha. This is exactly what we wanted, where they're just brightening up for the finals. Beautiful surroundings here in the Poles. After a little bit of, they've been very up and down this game, but as we've seen, when they can make it work, it is beautiful to watch. Credit to the Spanish defense, though. They've done a good enough job of putting pressure on these deep shots, either at the receiving or at the throwing end, so they haven't been able to execute as efficiently as they would like, and that's caused a lot of overthrows and a couple of other errors as well. Clutching the disc to pull for the Poles is number 11, Jan Madej. Also on this Polish D-line, Andrzej Olnicki, Stupkiewicz, Swiecicki, and number 16, Paweł Wiejski as well. Underneath for the Spanish, Alastrui. Takes that reset quickly. Borreviola disses it off. Marquez taking a lead pass, gonna have to motor across the sand, layout, Bidon! Another spectacular play from the Spanish. Just with that left hand laying out full extension. Number 10, Sergio Diaz-Poeta, to add another highlight reel play to what has been a spectacular list of this game for the Spanish.
Oh, the Spanish are throwing everything at this game, really wanting to not let the disc die in the sand. Hero maker of a pass. But it still had a lot of work to do. See the replay here, the rip downfield. Got to chase it down, it's going beyond him. Keeps the eyes on the disc, twists the body to land on his back in the sand. Great technique from the Spanish.
Yeah, the form on the sand is picture perfect. And nice applause from the crowd. Always a big crowd pleaser and a massive layout like that. And why wouldn't it be?
Well, we have a few fans in the stands, but with a lot of the other players finishing off their last game of the tournament, they'll build this afternoon. Masters Divisions finals coming up, and a mixed bronze medal match after this.
Yeah, Great Britain and Portugal going to be the combatants, and we already streamed one of their encounters, their earlier encounter this week, a game that went to sudden death, so hopefully we'll see more of the same. Filip Dobronovsky finds Paris. Bid comes through a little bit later, I think, from Lorenzo. Looks to me like Zaton already had it, an uncontested strip. Good spirit there.
And a tachoed disc as well. It's been bent sideways, and that one's the one for the dog bin, I think. Zaton's trying to straighten it out, but not sure how successful that's going to be.
Leave it in the sun for a bit, it'll be fine.
That's how these things work, isn't it? That's better. It's looking flat enough. We can carry on playing with this, can't we?
I think it has to be severely warped or split to warrant changing the disc midpoint, and disc not quite at that stage yet.
Yeah, great spirit from Lorenzo at all. No contest on that strip call. The hands of Romano are so close there.
Wind picking up a bit. Paris swings to Dobronovsky. Dobronovsky to his brother. Nice snag with that left hand. Not his dominant hand, and he's going to lash it deep looking for his brother, but it was too low. Didn't get enough height on it. Nice heads-up block there by Fernandez. Saw it coming and stuck an arm out. Got the tip, and it hit the sand. Here's Naya. Finds Fernandez. Blading, and he wants it all right on the spot. Nothing Goss could do. Another break for Spain. Lorenzo making the catch, and they're on the doorstep now of a bronze medal. 12-5 the lead.
Oh, Juan Carlos Fernandez with a powerful raking sidearm into the back of the end zone. Perfection from the big 43 shirt. The receiver doesn't have to do anything. They're just standing on the spot. The disc, like the two of them, are throwing frisbees in the park.
Or
discs
on the beach.
On the beach.
So we see here, there's the block from Fernandez. He just reads it all the way. He sees what he wants, and does a good job getting his hands in the air, getting a block on it, intercepting that in the midfield. And here, looking downfield, thinks, have I got this? Yeah, I've got this. The blade with that outside in banana shape coming back towards the back of the end zone, and beautiful stuff.
Can't underestimate how fast he's thrown that disc. It's really whipped it out of the fingers. It's gone up and down. The more angle there is, more sideways angle there is on the disc, the quicker it falls out of the sky.
I had to get a lot of torque and revolution on that throw to make sure it side through the wind. Kosmowski for the poles. Finds an option underneath. Piaski into the middle. Kosmowski looks downfield, gets the disc flowing towards that far side. A nice switch executed there to stop that up line cut.
Yeah, Gabaldoni very wisely waiting in the lane.
Full extension on that one from Jan Madej.
Little push off there from the 10 shirt of Hodnitsky.
Yeah, went upfield to try and sell the defender that way, and just a little shoulder bump as he pushed to go back into the handler space.
Called by Pina.
Oh, just about works that one free. Goal signal, just a bit too hard in that cut to the backfield and hopped it in.
It was almost apologetic, apologetic to the rest of the Spanish team, that goal signal from Pina. I got beat there, guys, sorry.
So Spaniards now will come out on offense with a chance to win this game. A long break train for the Poles would be incredibly unlikely. We've seen it happen, but Spaniards have really too good this game, and they've almost got there. Well, they're almost on the steps to the pedestal.
Well,
they just need to put it away.
The Polish D-line have only had one turnover all game, and they didn't convert it. So I can't see anything happening here other than a Spanish victory. If the Poles pull something very special out, they might extend this game by one more point. But otherwise, the bronze is heading across the border of the Iberian Peninsula and home with the Spanish. They'll be delighted, I think, with bronze.
Certainly.
Maybe they would have preferred a silver.
Yeah, and for the Poles, fourth is obviously not a position you want to finish in. You'd much rather have that silverware, but considering they were 20th at WCBU in Ryan a couple of years ago, a huge improvement in performance, and that's what happens when you take younger players along and really invest in developing a team and a culture. Monterde finds talismanic Fernandez. Io, high grab. Oh, there's a player wide open, and the push pass swag to end it. But a little bit too cheeky with that one. Tried to end it in style. He could have just found probably just a simple flick there, but wanted to end it in style, and Monterde couldn't bring it up. A little too casual, that one.
Romano with the cheeky push pass for the final bronze medal winning pass. I don't think so. Come on, let's play this game properly. The Poles with a chance to go down the field on defense and see if they get a break.
It would have been great if he worked, but he could feel like a proper mug in a couple of seconds if the Poles can push this one in. Made resets to Kosmowski. Back to Made. Up the line cut, doesn't go. The force flattens up and it allows the swing to go to Stubkovic.
Smart defense there, not moving too far across, but Fernandez's position made that pass across and it's been called out.
Yeah, leading past Made, tried to get him to steal some yards, tried to drag those back feet down.
Lorenzo on the sideline for the Spanish is called it in.
And raking inside shot, laser across the field. Kosmowski will put the backhand through the middle. The Poles do break, so Romano and Monterde punished a bit for getting too casual with that last connection, and break for Poland at 12-7. Their first break of the game, but too little too late.
The Spanish are going to be cross with him, aren't they? They could have had the game done and dusted, bronze medal around their necks by now, but a little bit cocky, and the Poles doing really good. Their first break of the game.
I mean, if we had the unlikeliest of unlikely comebacks here, you could definitely pinpoint that as that was the
turning point.
To use, yeah, if you excuse the pun. You got there in the end.
I did.
Right,
Yeah,
good.
Disc. Oh, that's a great pull from the Poles as well. Back in the end zone. Fast cuts, fast sprints from the team in red to get down there and take away the first couple of options. Still in their end zone here.
And if those pulls that go out of bounds quickly work and they do come back in bounds, they're really effective because the other team can't really go and attack the disc. Here's Alistri. Swing, but a couple of players there. One pulls out just in time. Inside break, all open in acres of space. Running, look at this, that gauntlet, just give go, 1-2.
Well, the space was available because a Pole had come across the tag to try and take away the pass to Galbadoni, did, but left his own man completely free.
And they're going to break around, and it's a bronze medal for the Spanish. Diaz with the winning point, and they will take their place on the podium at the end of the weekend. All credit to Poland. They did very well to get into the semi-finals in this bronze medal match, but on this occasion couldn't repeat their early performance. Totally outclassed by their Iberian opponents, and Spain win 13-7.
And the Poles won't be too disappointed there. They were just totally outclassed by Spain. It's very difficult to see how they would have got close to them, got in the same ballpark. The Spanish finishing this tournament really strongly with a semi-final where they got so close to Great Britain. They'll be playing off against Russia in the final tomorrow.
I think the one thing that the Spaniards might be frustrated about is that they had that suffered loss to Poland earlier in the tournament. This will probably cement in their minds that they were better than them, and had they won that game, they could have ended up on the other side of the bracket and could be facing Great Britain in the final today. But as it is, couldn't get it done earlier in the tournament, but now when it mattered in the bronze medal match, a totally commensurate, complete performance from the Spaniards to take a 13-7 victory in that bronze medal home.
More action from the beach as the party in Portimao continues. We have action from the Algarve. We've got a mixed bronze medal match. Great Britain versus Portugal coming up for you in just a minute. And then all four of the Masters finals, the Great Grandmaster men's, the Grandmaster men's, the Master women's and the Master mixed, all live on the WFDF YouTube channel and Facebook.
So a bumper day of Ultimate still to come here from the beaches of the European Beach Ultimate Championships 2019. So for all our Ulti.tv crew, for our statistician Brian Toy, and for my broadcast colleague, the one and only Mr. Tom Stiles, I've been Benjamin Rees, and we will see you on the other side.
Ulti.tv